Hello, hello. Hello. Can you read me? Hello, everyone. How's it going? How's it going? Buongiorno. Yes, Tiger was very correct, Wonk. I apologise for my tardiness. Little one needed a little bit more attention. I've had to leave her with the missus, who is probably counting down the minutes until she can hand her back to me and she can get some well-needed sleep. So, but yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Interesting qualifying, interesting race ahead of us. Of course, a sprint race and the qualifying this evening. So. Hope you are all good, and I hope you're all well rested after yesterday for this sprint race. It's going to be interesting. What is Max going to do? Of course, Lando has got Max right behind him, even though he is technically 2 positions back in P4. But yeah, it'll be really intriguing. You fell asleep to my voice, Lee. Oh, my dulcet tones. Oscar Piastri on pole just from Lando Norris, all front row for McLaren. And then Charles Leclerc P3, Max is P4. Charles is P3, Max is P4, Carlos Sainz is P5. Lewis and Checo didn't make it out of Q2. Lawson got into Q3, as did Albon, as did Gasly, Behrman as well. As it's now confirmed, actually. Behrman is going to be completing the rest of this weekend. So, yeah, Kevin Magnussen is unfortunately still too ill. Hey, Malik, good to see you. How am I doing today? I'm doing very well, Peter. Thank you for asking. Yeah, I hope everyone's doing well. I've been to the gym. I feel refreshed. I'm ready to rock and roll, guys. Ready to rock and roll. 25 minutes until this race gets underway. Counter on your screen. Now, I don't know what I've seen. Of course, there's lots of rumours about Colapinto at the moment. I saw some crazy rumour, and I am taking it with the largest pinch of salt ever, that Carlos Sainz may end up at Red Bull and Colapinto is in the Williams. I have no idea what's happening there. No idea what's happening. So, is that coffee with Kahlua? No, actually, it's decaf because I'm realising I'm consuming way too much caffeine and it's not doing good for my body. So I'm trying to just slightly reduce my caffeine intake and just go to the gym a bit more, so that kind of naturally just wakes me up. So, do I think the sprint race is going to be important in the championship? Definitely, Rab. Every single race between now and the end of the season is important in the championship. So yeah, I'll be sleepy. Look, if I be sleepy later this evening, that's fine. But these trust me, I have a lot of adrenaline running through me when I'm doing these watch-alongs. Don't you worry. Evening, Moon, good to see you. I've heard a rumor. Yes, we spoke in depth about it yesterday, Levy. Colapinto and moving to Red Bull. I'm sure there'll be some movement in the week. If there is any more movement, I will do a video on it as well. Because I'm seeing lots of people saying, "No, don't take the move, Colapinto. Don't take it." But I mean, look, if a top seat like that comes calling when you're not even on the grid next year, you need to take it, really. Colapinto Sainz swap with mate Verstappen, so very happy. When's the next ice racing stream, Freddie? To be honest, mate, I really don't know. It's tough. Obviously, with the newborn, she's not on like a set schedule. And I'm about to go back to work next week. So when I get back from work, I'm going to end up taking like over baby duties. So streaming wise might be a little bit tricky moving forward for the time being. But video content will still be coming. So what's my opinion on the new McLaren win? Looks funky, didn't it, Kelvin? I'm not really I've got basic technical knowledge of F1. I don't really know the ins and outs, but yeah, it looks funky. I mean, McLaren are just ahead of the game, really, it seems, with the development, aren't they? So Lando has to outscore Max by just about 12 points every single race. Yes, well, I do think this weekend is, well, every race weekend's important, but this is such an important weekend for Lando because he can truly I think he can genuinely cut into maybe 17, even 20 points into Max's lead this weekend, because the McLaren look brilliant. They seem to have the pace. Now, of course, Piastri is on front row, and Lando wants to avoid all the talk of team orders and so forth. But you think push comes to shove, they're going to make Piastri move over for Lando, and then Max has an engine penalty tomorrow as well. 5-place grid penalty. The Red Bull, we know, is struggling a bit on those race pace. So there's no guarantee. I mean, if he qualifies where he did today, he'll start P9 tomorrow. So if he finishes outside the top 5 and the McLarens and the Ferraris are too far ahead, best case maybe 5th place. He's fighting the Mercedes if they get their act together for qualifying. So real opportunity for Lando to eat into those points that Max has, or that championship lead. Don't stop streaming. No, I'll never stop streaming. I'll always do these F1 watch-alongs. Always will. As, of course, with a little one now, you can't plan. You can't, if emergencies happen, of so forth, that takes priority. But, yeah, no, I love doing these streams. And, yeah, I will try and obviously get back into the iRacing streams, but there might be a bit of few far in between in the future for now, while she's not on a set schedule. Hopefully the ICE Max goes kaboom. Chief Executive Babysitter. Lewis coming out and saying his back has been hurting for 2 years due to Mercedes porpoising is quite telling. Well, when you get into your 30s, you realise all of a sudden your back just starts hurting for no reason. Like, I have to apply heat to my back. Maybe it's because I'm a bit unfit, actually, but I have to apply heat to my back every time I get home from the gym, because otherwise it would, like, seize up. Yeah. Trust me, when you get in your 30s, you'll just realise. But isn't it Lando will either crumble under pressure or McLaren will? They have to set so much right for both championships. Yeah, I mean, look, for once, as we mentioned yesterday, so the pattern has kind of been this season thus far on sprint race weekends that McLaren have been chasing pretty much the whole weekend. They haven't got off to a good start with that limited one practice session, 1 hour only. Of course, they can change setup now after the sprint race in between qualifying, like today. But Red Bull have always kind of had the better. They've always come out leading when it's been a sprint race weekend, and then McLaren have had to chase them down. This time around, McLaren are out front, so yeah, could be very different. Have I raced any Super Formula Interlagos this week? I have, Dan. I've got a video of it I need to just put together, but I haven't been able to yet. I've done one race, and it was good. Yeah, it was good. I plan on doing more before the week is out, if I can. So, do I warm up and stretch? No, I stretch afterwards. Pico. You're in your 50s, Warren. Oh, I know. People have told me. People have forewarned me. But maybe it's partly because I used to be I think it's because I used to be in the gym quite a lot. And then the last couple of years, the only time I've ever really got back in the gym is when I've got a holiday and I want to look not beach body ready, but beach suitable. And yeah, then when I come back from holiday, I just don't go to the gym. So, do I think Piastri would be champion if there wasn't so much drama? No, because he hasn't done enough to, regardless of the drama, Piastri hasn't done enough this season to be mathematically possible for him to win the championship. So next year, maybe. Next year. But Piastri needs to do it more consistently. He's been a bit too flaky this year. He's shown what he can do, and I think people believe he can be a champion. However, like, he's been off the boil, isn't he, the last few races, which isn't good enough. So, especially if you want to win a world championship. I bet Ferrari beat them at the top step at the end of the season. It's going to be close. It's going to be very close. Very fit athlete with the best physiotherapist. That Mercedes just won't stop bouncing. Pilates is really good for your back. Yeah, I think it's primarily just I'm not as active anymore. I used to do professional golf, so I used to be on my feet all the time. I used to go in the gym. Even when I quit golf, like, I played quite a lot, and I don't really do that much more. I don't do as much physical activity as an exercise as I should do, really. So yeah. Can Leclerc win the championship? Mathematically speaking, yes, but I think he needs, like, Max to probably have 2 DNFs and for him to win both races, so, or all the race, every single race. So 6 times a week. Trust me, when you work full-time Quicko and then you have a little one and you've got a missus, you don't get time to go 6 times a week. Sprint race starts 20 minutes, guys. I'm waiting for the data to go live, so once we do, we will change scenery. Gavin, I'm very well, thank you. Hope you're doing good too. Who do I think is the best among Colapinto, Behrman and Antonelli? Well, at the moment, you have to say in regards to F1 terms, Colapinto, because he has done it. He's had more races and he's done better in those races than what Behrman and Antonelli hasn't had an F1 race yet. Behrman has. I think Behrman is kind of getting slept upon, really. Of course, all the talk is about Colapinto, and rightly so. But Behrman next year, I know he's not going into a top team. He's going into Haas. But every time he's stepped in this year, he's done a tremendous job. 7th in that Ferrari in Saudi Arabia. Did he finish in the points? He finished 10th, I think it was, in he got into Q3 in Baku. No, sorry, he qualified 11th, nearly got into Q3 in Baku, finishing the points in Baku, and now he's got into Q3 here, and he's going to be racing this weekend as well. So I think Behrman is one to definitely keep an eye out on. Of course, Antonelli, we don't know much about him other than what we've seen in F2 and tests and so forth. So proof will be in the pudding for him. But yeah, at the moment, Colapinto is leading that just because he's had more races. So your dream right now is to reach the Olympics. Oh well, good luck, man. Good man. I hope you do it. Driving on the sim rig without full speed feedback is a workout. With full feedback, yeah. I thought Mercedes said they worked out the bouncing issues months ago. Yeah, but there's still some level of porpoising. These cars are still very stiff, I think, as well. They're not like their predecessors. So, yeah. Behrman is fast. Yes, definitely. Yeah, Behrman and Colapinto have impressed massively a lot. Do I believe Ferrari will get first place in the Constructors' Championship? I don't think they will. I think they will fall just a bit short. But I think that ultimately this Constructors' Championship is going to come down to how well Piastri and Sainz do, not so much how well Norris and Leclerc do. I think we know Norris and Leclerc are going to be, basically, with the cars they've got at the moment, they're going to be up there on the podium pretty much each race. In which order, I don't know. I'm not shitting on Sainz, but Sainz is just not as consistent as Charles Leclerc. That's just fact. He has it in him to have like dominant weekends like we saw in Mexico, but it just doesn't happen often enough for him, hence why he's the one who's being moved out of Ferrari and not Charles Leclerc. And it depends on how they do in the remaining races, more so than what Charles and Lando do, in my opinion. So, because if Piastri does what he did the last 2 races, again, after this weekend, then that's... He only got 1 car scoring points, and Ferrari will just outscore them. So, can you please run through the potential changes in 2025? Not right now, Lifeless. Not right now. There's, I think the grid is already basically set up. So yeah, you can pretty much find that out online. Right. So it looks like the data's live, so we can get all set up, guys. Just give me a mo. It only takes 1 Verstappen Norris crash and Ferrari becomes favourite for the title. Yeah, there's still so many permutations to this championship in the World Drivers and the Constructors as well. So anything can happen. 2008, wasn't it, Cram? Yeah, something like that. 2007. But the Red Bull are wooing the decision to hire Perez this year. I think their bottom line probably isn't. He obviously got a shed load of money, didn't they? They got tons of money for him being in that seat and maintaining it. So they probably wanted the extra wind tunnel time as well. Right, let's get ready. Got that. I want race control messages. 10% chance of rain, ladies and gentlemen. 10% chance of rain. That is what I have got here. Right. Oh, I just heard Mercedes have to raise the ride height from overnight. So that's interesting. Right. Money doesn't... Well, it helps. Money does help you win a championship. But F1's a business now, isn't it? That's the thing. Is that okay? I think it is. There we go. Cool. Ready to go. Ready to go, I think. Ready to go. Actually, I might be able to move this over here so that you guys have a bit of a better sense of things. We'll see. Yeah, there we go. That's better. That's better. Which drivers are better in the rain now than others? Lewis, Max, Lando. They're all good. Oh. Am I excited to see Lewis drive Senna's car later today? Kinda. I mean, it'd be cool to see the images, but I'm not too fussed, to be honest with you. Who do I think should be RB's second driver next season? Well, rumours are... I mean, I want it to be Lawson, personally. I think Lawson deserves it. But it seems to be... The discussions now are about Colapinto. Perez has a contract for next season, but it seems like, yeah, it could be... It could be Colapinto, which is crazy. But I think Lawson deserves it. Alonso, trust in the rain, ignore the slow Aston. Yeah, Alonso's not too bad either. Bevin company name in the Haas race. It was a sponsor, so money helps, of course. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you need money in F1. You need money in motorsport anyway. I mean, it's so expensive now. So expensive. If McLaren did a good tactical warfare right now, they'd say it to let Lando take lead and defend like Perez did years ago, so Verstappen gets the least points possible. Yeah, I think... Look, they've still got the Constructors' Championship on the line, so a 1-2 for them is important. I think what they'll probably focus on doing is just... They'll say to them, look, you race to the first corner or to turn 4. You race to turn 4 and then we whatever the order is, we focus on putting out a lead to the guys behind and then we'll invert the positions. If I was team principal, that's what I'd be saying. I'd be saying you basically race to turn 4 and then that's it. Like, you just hold position until you get down into to put out a gap on Charles Leclerc, Max Verstappen and Carlos Sainz behind, because you've got both championships on the line here, but most importantly for McLaren is the Constructors, so they want a 1-2 and they don't want anything to compromise that. Thought I might be doing iRacing Formula Ford Festival. Formula Ford isn't really my sort of thing, Frog, but also, as I said before, without on the weekends when we've got F1 kind of takes priority for me, and especially with having a little one now, I have to think about spending time, obviously, with my little one and sharing the load, of course, with changing and feeding her and stuff from the missus so that she can get some needed rest. So the iRacing content at the moment, while the F1 season is on, probably take a bit of a back seat for now. I will do videos, of course, in the week, but the streams probably won't return until we're in the off season at the moment, until I've got that extra spare time with F1, not at weekends. I mean, both Oscar and Andrea yesterday said they do what they can to support Lando. Yeah, it's a smart decision, Kelly. It is a smart decision, but ultimately you don't want to compromise what is a 1-2. We've seen McLaren do that, of course, at Monza, and yeah, they don't want to do that again, obviously. She is just over a month old now, so she's very young, Quicko. So, yeah, kind of waking up and feeding every 3 hours, so sometimes even 2. Should Brands Hatch come to F1? No, unfortunately, the F1 cars are too big for Brands Hatch now. So, yeah, the cars have outgrown that circuit. Could be a bit of Leclerc and Max paintwork sharing at the start. I mean, that'd be ideal for Lando, wouldn't it, if Max crashes into Charles Leclerc. But ultimately, Lando Norris's #1 job, of course, is to try and get ahead of his teammate, but is to not leave a gap, a Red Bull-sized gap, on his inside down into turn 1. If you're unfamiliar with the starting positions at Interlagos, so the odds places start on the outside line, which is the racing line on the outside, and then the inside line is where the even numbers start, so that's Max and Lando. And of course for Lando, he needs to just cover off that inside to ensure Max doesn't do anything naughty, shall we say, and just go straight ahead at the apex. But Lando also needs to be careful that he doesn't leave the door open at the same time to Charles Leclerc, who will be coming round on his outside as well. So yeah, Lando needs to just look ahead, but also importantly look on his in his left mirror. You do think really, out of the two, you'd much prefer, if you're going to cede position to Leclerc or Verstappen, you just cede it to Leclerc. Lando starting on the dirty side is an issue though. It is, but we've seen plenty of drivers on the dirty side at Interlagos get down into turn 1 first. So, the refurbishments made it bumpy. Mario, the new track surface hasn't really sorted out any issues with. It has actually made it a bit more bumpy, which is why the drivers have been complaining. Mercedes apparently I've heard, have raised their ride heights to accommodate those bumps, but they're still getting them as well. So. Yeah, the race start. Nice time. Exactly, Jimmy. Stops the questions of when does the race start? When does the race start? So, can't miss it. Can't miss it. Do I think the FIA will ever properly fix the size problem? Yes. The next 2026 regs, Tyler, we are moving. The cars are getting slightly smaller. Not a lot, but slightly. So they have to do it gradually, and to get it back to a suitable size. I think they've understood that. We're in the heaviest and largest F1 cars in history right now, and it's just not suitable for a number of circuits. And it's also caused a lot of issues with blind spots as well, with drivers turning in, and there being kind of more crashes in that regard, because the visibility around these cars is just the worst it's ever been in F1 history. So even with larger rear wing mirrors, it doesn't help really that much. So yeah, they are slightly moving back in that direction. So hopefully over time we get back to the more slighter, nimble cars, which actually look faster on TV if you think about it. If you go back and watch the cars from the 2000s, the mid to late 2000s, those cars are considerably slower than now, but they look so much quicker because they're so nimble and because they don't take up so much of the racing surface. So when's the race end? Fuck. Have they fully confirmed them? They haven't fully confirmed the aero side of things, I believe. I think the engines are all sorted, but the aero is like the aerodynamic elements is where it still needs to be agreed, from last I heard. But even so, I think the size of the cars are gonna remain, as in like the suggestion of making them smaller, slightly smaller. Exactly, Sin, exactly. What do I think about the rumours concerning Danny Rick getting one last chance? I mean, he might get one last hurrah in Red Bull at Abu Dhabi. I don't know. We'll see. He's slow, but we're stuck up here. Both Aston cars starting from the pit lane for sprint. Yeah, well, they're shocking. They didn't even make it out of Q1, did they? Their drop-off really needs to be investigated, doesn't it? They're getting such a buy when you think about it. I mean, they have been absolutely shocking, Aston Martin. I know Alonso got it into Q3 in Circuit Americas, which is credit to him, but he fell through the field in the race, and they're struggling to make it into Q2 most weekends now. Like it's ridiculous. Everyone just packed up and gone home for Christmas early or something. What's the difference between a sprint race and regular race? It's shorter, so only 24 laps. I think it's a third of the race distance, so I think the race tomorrow is 71 laps, so yeah, 24 is about a third, isn't it? So, serious question for a change. Is there ever any scope for a pit stop in the sprint, barring punctures? Not really, no, because the medium compound tyre more often than not makes the distance. It's basically kind of your first stint in a race. The only time there would be we have seen pit stops in a sprint, I think, is when we saw the one at Spa, where. Was it last year or the year before? I think we had a sprint race at Spa. I can't remember which one it was, but it rained basically, and drivers all came into the pits and changed. Or it was raining, and yeah, they came in and changed onto dry tyres. I think it was. So Yeah, something like that, I think. So yeah, unless we kind of got changing weather conditions, the medium more often than not makes the whole distance comfortably, and then the soft compound tyre, depending on the race circuit, sometimes drivers will use that, but they'll still make it to the end, but they'll fall off in pace. Aston Martin just developed slower than everyone else. They're faster than last year, but the teams are all so close now. Yeah, but it's a team of their status and their backing and the personnel that they've got. They should be better than making it through Q1. Not being able to make it through Q1, you know? So it is free to subscribe, guys. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Please do. We're trying to hit 32,000 subs. Over 1,000 of you in here in preparation for this sprint race. Just over 2 minutes until we get the formation lap underway. Risk of rain is 10%, so it doesn't seem like we're going to get any this morning. Track temperature has increased from yesterday, and we can see tyre blankets coming off. Who's going to start on what tyre? And everyone is starting on the medium. Interestingly, for Charles Leclerc, he is starting on 6-lap-old medium tyres. So that's double the distance of what Lando Norris has done, and Max Verstappen, and his teammate Carlos Sainz. How is that going to affect his race here today? That is intriguing. Only Gasly and Lawson on brand new sets of softs. Even Alonso and Stroll starting from the pit lane. And Zhou Guanyu are not starting on a brand new set of softs. Lewis Hamilton is on a set of 7-lap-old mediums, so they clearly don't have much faith in Lewis Hamilton today in this sprint race. Starting in 11th, only the top 8 score points, bearing in mind, and only 1 point difference between those positions. So first place gets 10, second gets 9, third 8. You get the gist. Why are they all worn? Because we still have the race tomorrow, so no doubt the medium compound tyre is going to be a tyre of choice for tomorrow. It's normally a 2-stop race as well. We've seen the medium tyre be used and 2 hard sets of hards, so no doubt they want to save a set of brand new mediums for the race tomorrow. Be amazing if it rains halfway through. Yeah, we'll see. I don't think it's going to rain. I think it's more likely to rain this afternoon for qualifying from what I saw with the weather reports. So just quickly check that as we have 30 seconds until the formation lap gets underway, guys. Underway. Actually, it might already... Let me just update this. Hopefully we're okay with that now. So rain is predicted... Oh, actually, it's saying now 48% chance of precipitation. But yeah, this afternoon, 2 o'clock onwards is really where we could have rain for qualifying. So we'll see. We'll see. I thought it was... Oh, is it 8 points? Oh, okay. Well, if it is, whatever it is, Chris, it's only 1 point difference, isn't it? From first all the way down to the top 8. So, not a big fan of the cost cap interfering in other cars' development. Well, we'll see. We'll see how it all plans out, of course, over a course of many years. But here we go, guys. Formation lap underway. Formation lap underway. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Please do. We are moments away from this sprint race at Interlagos getting underway. Let's run through your grid for today. Oscar Piastri is on pole position. Lando Norris is second. Charles Leclerc in P3, of course, an all-McLaren front row. Lots of discussions about team orders, but let's see. Of course, for McLaren, it's important that they get a decent start and, of course, ensure that they cover off Max Verstappen in P4, especially Lando Norris. Max Verstappen in P4, as we just mentioned, starting directly behind Lando on the inside line. So Lando needs to be very careful of the leaving a Red Bull-sized gap for Max Verstappen to go into. Carlos Sainz in P5, George Russell in P6, Gasly and Lawson starting in 7th and 8th. The only drivers starting on a brand new set of mediums. Alex Albon in P9, a good qualifying from him, getting into Q3. Ollie Behrman stepping in this weekend for the unwell Kevin Magnussen. It has now been confirmed Behrman will be racing for the remainder of this weekend as well. So for him to get into Q3 and out-qualify Nico Hülkenberg is a tremendous effort. Lewis Hamilton, a shocking qualifying for him yesterday in P11. Nico Hülkenberg in 12th. Perez, say no more, in 13th. Colapinto in 14th. Valtteri Bottas, good for him getting into Q2 for the second week in a row. Ocon in P16. Yuki Tsunoda in 17th. He needs a strong performance here, or to at least gather some data to improve the remaining of this weekend for him. Alonso and Stroll starting in the pit lane as the Aston Martins failed to both make it through Q1. And then Zhou Guanyu bringing up the rear, also starting from the pit lane in P20. And that is your grid for this sprint race. What is going to happen? Of course, this is important in, well, every single race now is important for the remainder of this season, with both the Constructors and the World Drivers' Championship still up for grabs. Of course, Carlos Sainz and Charles Leclerc will be looking to cover off Max and get ahead of him as well. So there's still lots of permutations, lots to play for in this race and the remaining races of this season. So let's end the poll. And unsurprisingly, 51% of you think Lando Norris is going to win this race. Is he going to win it outright on his own with a decent start and get ahead of his teammate, or will there be team orders? Let's wait and see. So they are lining up. Yuki Tsunoda, the last driver to line up on the actual grid in his grid slot, of course, with the Aston Martins and Zhou starting from the pit lane. Is there going to be any shenanigans down into turn one? We've seen crashes and contact here before, as it's very tight in these very large modern day F1 cars through the center S's, and of course with overtaking opportunity down into turn 4 as well. One lap until we get DRS, and that's definitely going to be a big factor with 2 DRS zones here today. So here we go, guys. They are lined up on the grid. It's moments, and it's green light, and away we go. Who is going to head down into the first corner first? Is it Oscar Piastri? Is it Lando Norris? Has Max Verstappen got ahead of Lando here? And it is Oscar Piastri that leads. Lando Norris has covered off Max Verstappen. There's no change other than Lewis Hamilton losing the position, and a couple of drivers gaining there in Perez and Nico Hülkenberg, Yuki Tsunoda as well. But importantly, for the 2 McLarens, side by side for the first corner, and they've covered off Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, and now they will now look to pull away from the pack behind. Perez dropping down another position there as he gained one on Ollie Behrman as they're side by side as they head into turn 6. We've seen drivers go off here before with contact through a corner that has lots of understeer, and well, it seems to be they've all gone through there very well. Hülkenberg has gained 3 positions at the start. Ollie Behrman has lost one, as has Alex Albon. Lewis Hamilton, a terrible start from him down in P14. Charles Leclerc has held up Max Verstappen, importantly for Lando and Piastri, as I'm watching the race start now as they're about to end the start of this lap, as Oscar Piastri had a great start and covered off Lando comfortably. Max tried to send it down the inside but was too far back for Lando Norris. He left plenty of room for Charles Leclerc, and well, it's pretty much as it was in a very clean and respectable start. But Piastri is leading from Lando Norris in P2. The McLarens already have a 1.8 second lead over Charles Leclerc. Max Verstappen is 4 tenths back from Charles Leclerc. Sainz is a tenth back as well. Sorry, nearly a second back from Verstappen. He seems to have a bit of wobble in the first sector with George Russell back there. You can see pretty much a DRS train with it now activated, and we'll see if Verstappen can overtake Charles Leclerc. Of course, Lando will be hoping that Leclerc can stay where he is and put a car between him and himself, and potentially, of course, another if Piastri does give up that position to his teammates. We have 23 laps remaining in this race. I would not expect to see the McLaren drivers switch position right now, but who knows if Lando may get the run on Piastri, and maybe Piastri just won't fight it too hard. But Max is all over the back of Charles Leclerc, who does have older tyres, older medium compound tyres than Max Verstappen. And could this be playing a factor right now? Have Ferrari potentially dropped the ball here by holding on, putting Charles Leclerc on this set of older compound tyres? So here we go, DRS open for the first time. There's a massive DRS train. Only Charles Leclerc doesn't have the DRS ahead, and Charles Leclerc, is he going to be attacked by Max Verstappen as they head down into turn 1? He has the drive, he's going for the move. They're side by side into turn 1. Lando holds position on his teammate. Does Charles Leclerc come out ahead of Max? And he does. He just holds on to the position, but with a second DRS zone on the exit of turn 1, does Max have DRS again? He does. This move is not over and done with yet. We've seen Max make overtakes here, and of course dubious decisions into this corner before, but he just holds back on Charles Leclerc as Charles further moves back from these 2 McLarens, as they are now 2 seconds ahead of Charles, and Max on the attack for the first time, unable to get past the Ferrari of Charles. And well, Charles looks like he could be holding on for dear life for the next few laps. He'll need his teammate to get onto the back of the Red Bull to ensure that he does not helps out pretty much, as there is pretty much all aboard the Russell train in P6 with Gasly behind him, Lawson, Hulkenberg, Behrman now up into 10th, Perez is up into P11, Lewis Hamilton with the fastest first sector, but of course stuck where he shouldn't be in P14, as Charles Leclerc did go defensive to the inside into turn 1, and Max just did not have the overdrive or the overlap on the Ferrari, and this time around Charles Leclerc has gained a bit of time on Lando Norris, it seems, as that gap has now come to 1.6 down to 1.6 seconds on Oscar Piastri, and Charles Leclerc is now within the DRS of Max Verstappen. So interesting there, but the top 4 have closed up. They now all have DRS, with Oscar Piastri punching a hole in the air for those up ahead. Charles Leclerc fastest lap last time around. Carlos Sainz looking to catch up to this pack as he is comfortably ahead of George Russell, as George Russell has track limits at turn 2, lap 3. So George Russell slightly struggling. Of course, the Mercedes having issues with porpoising again, it seems. Lewis Hamilton update is just stuck in that train behind Colapinto and Albon. Albon is down 3 positions as well, so not a good start for him. Radio for Max Verstappen. Take your time, Max. You know the game, is what GP, his engineer, has stated to Max Verstappen. So maybe they are fully aware of Charles Leclerc basically on older tyres, that he may be able to hold on and wait for the fall off of those tyres of Charles Leclerc in that Ferrari. But here we go. Lando Norris is slightly closer to his teammates with DRS open. Is there going to be a change of positions here? No. Lando Norris still just holds back from Oscar Piastri, but he does need to be careful, as Charles Leclerc is starting to get a move on. He is in the DRS as well. Max has slightly just fallen back a bit. Are we going to see tyre saving measurements in this race, even though it is only 24 laps, as Norris is gaining on his teammate, but Oscar Piastri made a very good start as I'm watching the replay. Max actually didn't have that good of a start, and he locked up and nearly went into the side of Charles Leclerc as he sent it into turn 1. And, well, really, really lucky there, Max Verstappen, but he didn't go into the side of Charles Leclerc. But yes, we could potentially see, even in this 24-lap race, the track temperature is very hot, nearly 50 degrees, 48.6 degrees. Even see these drivers fall back a little bit to save tyres, because this track is notoriously known for not killing tyres, but for it being a 2-stop at least. The tyre wear is very high here, of course, with the high track temperature and the nature of some of the fast corners here, especially turn 6 through to turn 7. That is a very high loaded corner, as Lando Norris, has he just dropped back there? No, that was just a bit delay in the track map, as he is still on the back of his teammate in the DRS, as Charles Leclerc has just dropped back a little bit as well through the exit of turn 12. Such an important corner here at Interlagos, as Charles Leclerc 1.1 seconds back from Lando Norris, and has now allowed Verstappen back within the DRS. Sainz is dropping back from Max Verstappen. Maybe he's just thinking about tyre saving at this stage and not pushing too much, but there is quite a sizable gap between the second Ferrari driver, last week's winner at the Mexico Grand Prix. George Russell still on that train with Gasly and Lawson behind him, Hulkenberg and Behrman. Behrman now under attack from Sergio Perez. Of course, not making it out of Q2 yesterday. Lewis Hamilton failing to get past the Williams of Colapinto and Alex Albon. He is stuck right in that train as it currently stands. He is on considerably old tyres. He's on the oldest tyres out of everyone there on the grid, so no doubt that isn't helping him, as well as a fastest middle sector from Oscar Piastri, 4 tenths quicker than his teammate, and that's noticeable there, as Lando Norris did drop back to nearly a second from his teammate, but importantly maintains the DRS. Max Verstappen has DRS this time around. He is gaining on Charles Leclerc. Does he have enough to get on the overlap of Charles Leclerc down into turn 1? He's just set the fastest lap of the race. No, but he'll be positioning himself, no doubt, for another attack into turn 4. He'll have DRS again as they exit and they go around Curva de Sol, turn 3. Let's see if Charles Leclerc is able to defend from Max, or if Max has enough to even go for an opportunity. No doubt Charles will be defending to the inside, as the outside, of course, is longer to go around. It's so much tougher to ensure that you're ahead of the apex with these current racing rules. Hamilton was hitting the space the entire race, I think so. As Norris is told, we understand, just keep an eye on Charles Leclerc. So at the moment, the McLarens are just kind of working together to ensure that they don't do anything silly, and they cover off Charles Leclerc behind, and of course Max Verstappen, who is on the charge. Charles, of course, is on 12-lap old tyres. So not he's on considerably older tyres than that of Verstappen, or 3 lap older than Verstappen and Lando Norris. So how much is that hurting him? Max Verstappen had the fastest first sector last time out, of course, with the assistance of DRS of Charles Leclerc, and he has it again, and Charles has it on Lando Norris as well. And unfortunately for Lando, he has lost DRS on his teammate. But how pacey is that McLaren? Will Lando potentially fall into the clutches of Charles Leclerc here, or is this potentially a slight little tactic to try and help Charles hold off Max Verstappen? I don't think they'd play that game too early in this sprint race, that is for sure. As Lando is saying, I'm not sure, as Lando is already stating, I'm not sure what we're talking about. I thought we spoke about this, obviously indicating 2 team orders. And, well, Lando has now dropped back to 1.3, 1.2 seconds. And, well, is he losing a bit of cool under his helmet? Is he losing a bit of his cool under his helmet that he hasn't been let past yet? Because he is now falling into the clutches of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen, very close behind. We will see 17 laps remaining of this sprint race, guys. It is Piastri leading from Lando Norris, who doesn't have DRS on his teammate, with Charles Leclerc close behind in P3, Max Verstappen in P4, Sainz is in P5, Russell in P6, Gasly 7th, Lawson 8th, Hulkenberg 9th, Behrman 10th, with Perez chasing him down. That is your top 11. But here we go, another run for the 8th time down into turn 1, and it seems like Charles Leclerc has a really good drive on Lando Norris. He doesn't have enough to go for a move, but of course there will be DRS down into turn 4, and has Oscar Piastri just given DRS to Lando Norris through that detection zone? No, he hasn't. Lando's going to have to probably go defensive here, with Charles Leclerc being chased by Max Verstappen, and Lando without DRS. Does Charles Leclerc go for a move? No, he's not close enough. But Lando probably had to cover it off. As Lando is told, understood, keep doing what you're doing. And he responds, yeah, whatever. So Lando not happy. Behrman got back past Nico Hulkenberg, as Perez is going for a move on Nico Hulkenberg as well. He's seen an opportunity. Can he get past the German driver? He can, as Perez is up into P10. Sneaky in 2 corners. Hulkenberg has lost a position to his teammate, who is standing here this weekend for Kevin Magnussen, who is ill with food poisoning. And Perez said, thank you very much. I'll go through there too, and is now up into P11. Alonso fighting his teammate, and Zhou Guanyu, how the mighty have fallen for 19th position there, or 18th position. Lewis Hamilton still yet to make up a position here in this sprint race on Colapinto. He has lost 3 positions from this grid play start. So here we go again for the 9th time through the start-finish straight. Lap 10, 15 laps remaining. Lando Norris is in the DRS now of his teammate. So has Oscar Piastri just had a bit of a wobble there through turn 12, or is that a conscious decision for him just to drop back and tow his teammate along, as he was falling into the clutches of Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen? Max, the fastest first sector for him. Good move there, as I'm watching on TV coverage of Sergio Perez. Time for a Sainz comeback. I doubt it. He's 3.3 seconds behind, and, well, he was last time around quicker than those in front. So if he gets on the back of this, it could be a 5-way fight for the sprint race, for the remaining of this sprint race. George Russell now starting to make a few gains as well on the drivers behind him, but not enough on the top 5. A 12.9 for him, so the Mercedes not looking too good. Lewis Hamilton with his fastest lap of the race last time around in traffic with a 13.1. This is definitely a sprint race for him to forget. But right, here we go, turn 12 again, as Lando has lost DRS, it seems, on his teammate, as Piastri is told to give Lando DRS. As Piastri is given a team order, give Lando DRS. So team orders at play here to help each other, as Piastri is just braking into turn 1 a little bit early to give Lando the DRS, as the activation for that DRS down into turn 4 is just after the turn 1 corner, in between turn 1 and turn 2. But importantly for Lando, he lost it last time around through turn 12. So that seems to be that Lando, of course, the primary overtaking opportunity is down into turn 1. And if he doesn't have the DRS there, that is not going to be ideal. He had the DRS and then he lost it. Lando is going to bottle. I don't think so. We'll see. But it's very, very close at the moment. One slight mistake from any of these drivers will allow those behind to take advantage, as Perez gets another Haas of Ollie Behrman. 2 in 2 laps for Sergio Perez through turn 4 on the Haas drivers. So Sergio Perez in that Red Bull, now chasing down his favourite driver in the world, Liam Lawson. Let's see how that plays out in the remaining of this race with 14 laps remaining. That's going to be interesting. That's going to be interesting. Can't he just let Norris through? He potentially could, but with the drivers so close behind at the moment, they don't have a sufficient gap to hold off Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen and do it sufficiently. Importantly for Lando is that there is a gap. There is a car between him and Max Verstappen. But of course, with only 1 point difference between the position finishing positions here in the sprint race from 1st to 8th, that of course it's not that big of an advantage. But every point does matter at this stage of the season, especially with McLaren also going for the World Drivers' Championship. So importantly for them, World Constructors' Championship. So importantly for them, a 1-2 is primary. But no doubt there may have been discussions that if they had the drivers on their behind like they do now, the 1-2 is the focus. They have the gap they're just watching. Norris is now at risk. Yeah, halfway through, hopefully McLaren can hold. We will see. Obviously, mediums, easy 24 laps out of them. Yes, but I think they will have to look after them a little bit. We'll see if Verstappen... I mean, they're all following within the dirty air. Piastri, no pun intended, is in pole position here. He is in clean air. Clean air is king, as he stated earlier on in the season. And, well, he is able to manage his tyres, and he's the one giving off the dirty air to Norris behind. Leclerc, Verstappen. So all of these, while they're racing and while they're staying within the DRS, they are using more and more of their tyres. As Piastri is comfortably giving the DRS to his teammate. And by the way, Sergio Perez is flying, ladies and gentlemen. Sergio Perez is flying. He is catching up. Liam Lawson just had a really slow lap there last time around. And, well, Sergio Perez is already on the back of Lawson. And no doubt will get Pierre Gasly as well. Perez, who has gone well here in the past. Of course, that tremendous battle with Fernando Alonso last year for 3rd place. He does have good form here. So looking to recover from what was a poor qualifying yesterday. He has DRS on Liam Lawson, but we know Liam doesn't give places up easily, as he found out last week in Mexico. So let's see how that plays out. As Leclerc has lost the DRS of Lando Norris, this is now the opportunity for McLaren to run. Can they run away from Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen as they now have an opportunity? Piastri is 2 seconds pretty much ahead of Charles Leclerc. They've broken the DRS. It's all about the exit here for Lando Norris and, of course, Max Verstappen, because Max is on the back of Charles. He's just lost a bit of time there on the exit of turn 12, but he is close. 6 tenths back. DRS. Will he have enough to get round Charles Leclerc down into turn 1? That is just a delay on the track map there of Lando Norris on Oscar Piastri. And, well... Does Max go for a move down there? No, he doesn't. He's no doubt going to position his car 3 tenths back, and he loses a bit of time on the exit of turn 1. That gap went from 3 tenths back out to 6 tenths, and that's not going to be enough for Max to get past Charles Leclerc around the outside at least to ensure he's ahead at the apex or down the inside. And yes, there you can see Charles Leclerc maintains a position comfortably, but Liam Lawson on the defence now from Sergio Perez. Does Sergio Perez, he likes turn 4 at the moment. How much pace does he have in that Red Bull car over the RB car? Does Liam Lawson park it on the apex? He does indeed, and he holds off Sergio Perez for a little bit longer. Good teamwork from McLaren, it seems. It does seem like that. Now, those turn 12 exit isn't good. He's using time just to keep the gap. Yes, well, the reason why he's losing time in turn 12, ladies and gentlemen, is because he has the dirty air from Oscar Piastri. As Verstappen is asking, come on, Charles is making so many mistakes. Yeah, but you still need to get past him. But there we go. Lando Norris, 9 tenths back from Oscar Piastri. He's just about saved DRS. He gave the DRS again to Charles Leclerc, and it's kind of a bit of a yo-yo at the situation at the moment where all of these drivers are kind of struggling with the dirty air through turn 12. One slight mistake one big mistake really is just going to let the other driver pass. Max Verstappen seems to be quite comfortable in the DRS of Charles Leclerc, but he doesn't just have enough at the moment. As Perez does get past Liam Lawson down into turn 1, but Liam Lawson comes back as Sergio Perez through turn 2, and Sergio Perez, I think, has sent it on Liam Lawson down into turn 1. Of course, a lot of needle between these two drivers being carried over from Mexico. Liam wasn't happy yesterday with Sergio Perez down on the inside through turn 4 on his on his flying lap in qualifying, and well, Sergio Perez, I think, has just sent it on Liam Lawson into turn 1 because he got ahead, and then Liam Lawson just went, thank you very much, I'll retake the position, and now Sergio Perez is around 8 to 9 tenths back on the RB driver. I'm just waiting to see the TV coverage to see if that indeed did happen. I assume it did. As we go again, as Charles Leclerc has lost the DRS again on Lando Norris, 1.2 seconds back. But Max Verstappen has also had a bit of a poor exit and is only 5 tenths back, gaining on Charles Leclerc down into turn 1. He's going to have to try and catch Charles Leclerc napping. As I'm watching the TV coverage and they fail to show Sergio Perez go for that move, as Liam Lawson is now thinking about catching Pierre Gasly again. As Alonso is up into P18, Zhou Guanyu is staying to the back of Lance Stroll. Lewis Hamilton update, still yet to make an overtake in this race, guys. He has lost 3 positions. Colapinto is in P13, as is Albon in P12. Behrman in P10 ahead of his teammate Nico Hülkenberg. There's an inter-team battle there happening as Albon is catching the Haas's. Gasly holding off Liam Lawson at the moment. Piastri is 1.8 seconds ahead of Charles Leclerc. We've got 9 laps left of this race. Charles Leclerc is just, he's 1.1 seconds ahead behind Lando Norris. But Max also seems to be dropping back a little bit. If you see the interval time there, Max Verstappen is also dropping back a little bit and is 8 tenths now on the exit of turn 12. That's the furthest back Max Verstappen has been behind Charles Leclerc on the exit of turn 12 since the start of this race. We can see Lance Stroll is now actually been overtaken by Zhou Guanyu. W's in the chat for Zhou Guanyu, ladies and gentlemen. Zhou has made an on-track overtake. Brilliant. Radio for Lando Norris. As Lando Norris has been told, with the gap to Charles Leclerc, we are happy to hold these positions until the last lap. That is their plan. And well, Charles Leclerc now has a 1.7 second gap, 1.87 second gap to Lando Norris. So could this be the opportunity now for them to switch positions with Charles Leclerc losing a bit of time to Lando Norris? We will see. But of course, if Max Verstappen gets past Charles Leclerc, then Max could get on the back of Lando pretty sharpish. We will see. But that is a confirmation of team orders there. That is team orders there. Yeah, that is team orders being confirmed by McLaren over the radio. But, of course, we have heard team orders be dished out before and it not be adhered to. So let's see what happens. But Lando, importantly, has now lost DRS to Oscar Piastri as Charles Leclerc is 1.5 seconds back. Can Max make a move here? He's a bit closer than he has been for quite some time. Can he make a move on Charles Leclerc? No, Charles Leclerc covers off the corner. It's all about the exit, and Max Verstappen has a good exit on Charles Leclerc here. He's 2 tenths back. He's 1 tenth back. You think this might be a move for Verstappen? Charles Leclerc is going to have to go defensive here. He's going to have to go. He's got the DRS open. Max is ahead, but who's going to be ahead of the apex? And it is Max Verstappen who is ahead at the apex. And now the McLarens don't have to worry about Charles Leclerc. They have to worry about the Red Bull driver, the championship rival to Lando Norris. And now there is only a 1 point difference to Lando Norris and Max Verstappen, and not the potential 3 that they might be looking at the end of this race if they're able to invert the positions. Because can Max now catch Lando and put pressure on Lando in this race? Interesting. I think Leclerc's tyres have just started to fall off. Hang on, just listening to team radio. And they are stating, they are confirming that they will swap positions eventually in this race. And I wonder if they've been told to get a bit of a move on now, Piastri and Norris, with Max Verstappen getting past Charles Leclerc. I'm just watching the replay back as Charles Leclerc has already lost places, lost a lot of time there to Max. And yes, Charles Leclerc just did not have the pace down the straight to turn 4 on Max Verstappen, and Max just easily got past Charles Leclerc. No side-by-side action for the Ferrari and the Red Bull. And well, it is now P4 and P5 for Leclerc and Sainz. So, can Verstappen chase Lando Norris? What is the response from the McLarens? An 11.8 for Verstappen last time around. That was assisted with DRS though. So we'll see what this lap will be like. Will they invert the positions now, or are they still going to hold on to the end of this race? We will see. They seem to have good paces. Hamilton has finally made an on-track overtake, has got past Colapinto and is up into P13. In all of that furore, Albon has got ahead of Nico Hülkenberg and split. And actually, Albon's got ahead of Ollie Bearman down into turn 6. Alex Albon, in quick succession, has got past both Haas drivers and is now in the top 10. Liam Lawson and Sergio Perez update. Lawson has the DRS on Pierre Gasly, but he's under pressure from Sergio Perez, who I think has gone for a move. A bit of side-by-side action there. Sergio Perez went for another lunge on Liam Lawson down into turn 10. And, well, there is definitely no love lost between those two drivers. Liam Lawson, I think, has just lost DRS to Pierre Gasly, and Perez, no doubt, will have a move on. Perez will now have a move on Liam Lawson down into turn 1. Let's see how hard they fight this. Or how hard can Liam Lawson fight this? We saw Sergio Perez go long here before, down into turn 1. He's got ahead. They're side by side into turn 1. But does Liam Lawson have enough to be able to defend? No, he has to cede the position. But I don't think he'll have enough. He'll have DRS, but can he come back at Sergio Perez as Lewis Hamilton has made another position up on Nico Hülkenberg? The Haas drivers really struggling on their tyres and starting to fall back in this race as Sergio Perez has finally dispatched Liam Lawson and, well, is now in that last point finish position. Max Verstappen now 1.8 seconds back from Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Norris starting to lose the DRS to his teammate as well. Charles Leclerc 1.6 seconds back. We're now into the phase of this race where these tyres are hurting. They are hurting. As Piastri has been told, Verstappen, we believe, is faster than Leclerc. So maybe that's a little bit of a move on. We have 4 laps remaining as they cross the start-finish line. It is Piastri from Lando Norris here. Max Verstappen has got past Charles Leclerc and is in P3. Nico Hülkenberg has lost another position. The Haas of Nico Hülkenberg his tyres have fallen off a cliff, or he... Oh, hang on. I was just trying to watch that replay back. Was that a late move by Liam Lawson there? As yellow in sector, and Nico Hülkenberg has pulled over. I was just about to mention, has Nico Hülkenberg got an issue? This could be a safety car. Lando Norris and Piastri might have to change positions now if that's the case. Is this a safety car? Nico Hülkenberg has pulled over. He was falling through the field. He is now down in last position, and could this put a spanner in the works to McLaren's team orders? We have 4 laps remaining. Max Verstappen is 1.3 seconds back. It's a double yellow. Where has Nico Hülkenberg been able to pull his car over off to the side? There is a lot of grass on the area there. But will they invert the positions now with the potential of a safety car? Nico Hülkenberg out of this race, unfortunately for him. Max Verstappen now 1.1 seconds back from Lando Norris. So Max Verstappen is gaining at this stage. They do have to lift through the yellow sectors. So maybe that's why Max was able to close a little bit there, as Perez is already on the back of Pierre Gasly. He's looking to gain another position here. He's currently up 5 positions and should be finishing in 7th place, you would think. It seems to be no safety car yet. It's only a second yellow. It's only a double yellow at the moment. Is this the move? Is this the move? Lando Norris, inverted positions, and Lando Norris is ahead of Oscar Piastri down into turn 4, and maybe that is them thinking that there might be a safety car. Oscar Piastri now has Max Verstappen to deal with, but that importantly is teammates right there. That is the team role that Oscar Piastri has said he would play and has already lost DRS to Lando Norris. We'll see if Oscar Piastri can hold off Max Verstappen right now, but importantly for Lando, he is going to gain an extra place there. And I think they're just worried that, yes, Nico Hülkenberg hasn't been safely out. I'm surprised this race is still going, to be honest with you, and there isn't a safety car, because Nico Hülkenberg hasn't really pulled that car off to a safe position. So Lando's going to have to give DRS to Oscar Piastri, as Max Verstappen is really on the back of Oscar Piastri here. How hard can Oscar fight this? And yes, there is a safety car. Oh, McLaren, that is a very long time for them to bring out the safety car, or the virtual safety car. Oscar Piastri and McLaren have changed that position, have changed those positions at the right time, because they wouldn't be able to do so right now. We have 2 laps remaining here. And, well, I'm surprised. I'm very surprised that this safety car has taken so long to come out after seeing where Nico Hülkenberg has parked his car. That is definitely not in a safe position. And I think that this race will end under the safety car at least, because they're not going to be able to wheel that car away in a good, safe manner right now where it is. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. That was very, very close there from McLaren. Of course, Max Verstappen is all over the back of Piastri. He is not going to let him go one bit. Of course, Lando will be thinking about giving the toe to Piastri, but we'll see. If they can get across the start-finish line, I mean, the virtual safety car can end at any moment. So there is a possibility that we get racing from turn 12 to the finish line. So we will see. It's not like the safety car where you have to then continue that lap. There's then an additional lap under the safety car once you finish, or you have to finish that lap under the safety car next time you come around. So the VSC could end at any moment, but Nico Hülkenberg's car is not in a safe place, and I think this race is going to end under a VSC. He's only just parked it on the grass, only just off the racing surface, and yeah, I'm not entirely sure they'll be able to deem that being acceptable to be removed. No, Mikey, no! Red Bulls and Ferrari can smell it in the air. So, yes, very interesting, guys. If you are just tuning into the stream, or if you're new to the stream, please hit that like and subscribe. How have we only got 285 likes in this stream? Let's get this stream to 1,000 likes. We have nearly 4,500 of you here in this stream. Please hit that subscribe button as well. We're trying to get to 32,000 subscribers. You can see there, 31,919 as it stands. As the virtual safety car is ending, the VSC is ending. We're going to have half a lap of racing here as Lando Norris is backing up Oscar Piastri to give him the tow. Max Verstappen is stating that they are slowing up on purpose. And what's Max doing here? Max has already gone racing as Piastri is ahead into turn 4. We have half a lap remaining. It is Norris from Piastri, from Verstappen. Charles Leclerc is too far back, as is Carlos Sainz, but Max is all over the back of Piastri. The deal is here now. Can Piastri gain an extra point for Lando Norris? They're inverted to positions just before the VSC came out. We are on the final lap. Is it going to be Norris, Piastri, or Verstappen, or will it be Norris, Verstappen and Piastri? Who knows? There's one more. It's all about the exit through turn 12. Max, no doubt, could send it down into turn 12. He has to think about his race tomorrow, of course, with that engine penalty. It will only be 2 points lost in this championship battle, as there are positions being changed between Ocon and Behrman. And Piastri, how much of a drive has he got out of that last corner? He's got enough, but has he got DRS on Norris? No, he hasn't. And Verstappen doesn't have enough with that exit out of turn 12, and it is Norris wins the sprint race from Oscar Piastri in P2, Max Verstappen in P3, Leclerc in P4, and Sainz in P5. George Russell will come across the line in P6. Can Perez get Pierre Gasly down across the start-finish straight? Perez, a great drive from him in this sprint race, up 5 positions into P8. Can he get Pierre Gasly? No, as Gasly holds off for a great P7 for the Alpine driver. Perez in P8, Lawson in P9, Albon in P10, Lewis Hamilton, after losing 3 positions at the start of this race, in P11, regained a few positions there. Colapinto in P12, Ocon in P13, Behrman unfortunately down 4 positions into P14. The Haas seem to have an issue there potentially at the end, either with their tyres or something else, with Hülkenberg retiring and Behrman finishing in 14th, Tsunoda in 15th, Bottas and Zhou in 16th and 17th, as the 2 Aston Martins are the last 2 runners starting from the pit lane in 18th and 19th. And as we mentioned just there, Nico Hülkenberg is in P20. But wow, job number 1 done for Lando Norris. He has won the sprint race, yes, with assistance from his teammate, but McLaren, importantly, have secured a 1-2, and Max Verstappen, for them, is ahead of the Ferraris, so they gain a few more points and increase that gap to the Ferraris in the Constructors' Championship. Every point matters in both of these championships right now, but Lando Norris has started off this weekend not losing points, but gaining points on Max Verstappen, 2 points to be exact. And of course, we have qualifying this afternoon, guys, for a little bit later on in a few hours' time for the race tomorrow, where Max Verstappen does have a 5-place grid penalty for a new engine unit part. So that's going to make things very interesting tomorrow as well. But for me, I think that was quite a good race. I think that was quite a good sprint race. Very interesting. Not as maybe punchy as we thought, but I think we are going to see similar tomorrow in regards to the teams on brand new tyres as well. The Ferraris will be better, of course. Charles Leclerc on those used tyres, older than Piastri, Verstappen and Norris, I think really came to haunt him in the end. And well, it's going to be a very good race tomorrow, guys, with multiple teams and drivers. I feel, well, at least the McLarens and the Ferraris. Max will have to obviously try and regain positions with that grid place penalty, but it's going to be a very interesting race tomorrow, guys. I want to see Perez doing well again. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Perez showing Lawson who is daddy. Lawson did make it hard for him. He did make it hard for him. Both the Red Bull have pace compared to the Ferrari and Mercedes. They do, Arnold. Well, the thing is, though, is that they can now gather the data they've learned and they can go change the setup for the qualifying this afternoon and for the race tomorrow. So there's still lots of improvement to be made for these teams, for Ferrari, for Red Bull. for McLaren. McLaren managed that very well up front. They managed it very well. What we saw, though, is that the dirty air is real here, guys, especially through turn 12 or through turn 10 to turn 12. It's like once your tyres are starting to struggle, we start to see those drivers kind of fall off a little bit. So thank you, Daisy. Much appreciated. More points than Max today. 5 grid pen tomorrow. We haven't seen the hards yet, so it'll be a thing to keep in mind. Yeah, I mean this race has always been a 2-stop strategy as well, so that's also something to take into consideration. Oh, virtual safety car infringement. Max Verstappen noted. I did think, actually, he got ahead of Piastri on the track map down into turn 4. I did notice that, but Max, I thought he'd got ahead of Piastri into turn 4. Well, if he gets a 5-place grip, if he gets a 5-second penalty for that, for safety car infringement, then Charles Leclerc finishes ahead of him. So we'll see. I did see that. I thought maybe it was a little bit of a glitch on the track map, but that is being investigated. A virtual safety car infringement for Max Verstappen. I'd love to see a replay. It'll be investigated after the sprint race. So we'll see. He did give the position back, but you're not allowed to overtake regardless under safety car conditions. Doesn't matter if you give the position back. You're not allowed to get ahead of the car ahead of you. That's just rule number 1 in safety car procedure. So, oh, is it moving faster? Hang on. Just listen to just listen to what Sky are saying. Oh, so actually it's a delta infringement. So they are assuming that it's probably Max basically exceeded the delta. He exceeded the delta, got an acceleration too quickly as the virtual safety car was coming to an end. So he basically just tried to obviously get ahead of the game and might have misjudged it. So we'll see. Love it as soon as McLaren get their swap done. FIA starts the VSC. It was, I won't lie to you, it was dubious. After seeing where Nico Hülkenberg parked his car, and it was a good 2 laps. It was a good 2 laps where we saw Nico Hülkenberg had his car. It does make me wonder. I'm not going to lie to you. It does make me wonder. That was very dubiously long for them to bring out the safety car. I thought they could have got that out a lot quicker, especially after seeing where his car was parked. So yeah, I think that's a reasonable question. To understand why was that not a VSC sooner. Did Piastri brake test the investigation to check? No, so it's purely Sibu. It's purely investigating Max's delta. So he just got on the acceleration potentially too quickly. So yeah, I mean, we'll see. They're going to investigate it, but I mean, if he has, it's pretty much a slam dunk, and that's the case for any driver. So, so is he going to basically speeding gaming? Yeah, that's basically it. Yeah, the crux of it. Yeah. Lando does his own head in the fastest car. Yeah, race is finished. Yeah, the race is just finished, guys. Big thank you for tuning in. We are nearly at 32,000 subs, by the way. Big thank you for those of you tuning in. If you could hit that subscribe button, we are. Oh, 45 remaining, and continue to hit the like button as well. But we're going to stay around to see if we can find out when this investigation is going to be conducted for the virtual safety car infringement. Yes, Sergio Perez did get the fastest lap. So let's run through this grid once more time. So Norris has finished P1 with Oscar Piastri. They inverted their positions at the right time. It is a little bit dubious, but as they did invert the positions, literally the next corner, the VSC came out. I think there's a question mark around that, to be honest with you. Max Verstappen in P3, who we know is being investigated for a safety car infringement. It is between a 5 and 10 second time penalty, is what I've been told, depending on the severity of it. I think normally it's a 5 seconds. If that's the case, he'll finish behind Charles Leclerc. If it's 10 seconds, then he'll finish behind both Ferraris and finish in P5. George Russell in P6, very lonely race for him and for Carlos Sainz as well. Leclerc in P4. I expect the Ferraris to come back stronger in qualifying and the race tomorrow. Obviously would have gathered a lot of data there. Gasly, by the way, Alpine quietly going about his business, Pierre Gasly, with these new upgrades. That's his second top 10 finish in a row. Second time he's got into Q3 in a row. And, well, yeah, no, I expect him to be up there similarly again. Perez, though, showing he does have pace in that car if he can actually qualify. But 5th place, while it's great for him to get some overtakes done out on circuit, he's still in a car that should be comfortably overtaking those cars. Lawson gave him a bit of trouble. Good top 10 finish for him regardless. Albon in P10. Hamilton just probably just thinking about driving Senna's car, to be honest with you. I'm not worried about this race. Colapinto P12. Ocon P13. Behrman dropped. It seemed like the Haas has really dropped off a cliff. I wonder if he had a similar issue to Hulkenberg that made him retire. Tsunoda 15th. Bottas 16th. Zhou 17th. Alonso 18th. And Stroll 19th. It's race control decides the safety car, not FIA. Yeah, no, it will be race control. Yeah. Hamilton could come back in the end. Yeah, I mean, is it really though? Is it really? I mean, he was stuck behind 2 Williams for God knows how long, and he only gained positions on a struggling Nico Hulkenberg and a struggling Haas. So it wasn't really that good of a race for him. To be fair, the track was yellow flag at a position where the car was off. The drivers are supposed to slow down and be prepared to stop the rules. Then they put VSC out to move the car if they did. I don't know. I still feel like you know straight away whether or not a car needs a VSC or not for just safety reasons. And they failed to do that. So I think it is a reasonable question. Johnny Herbert doesn't have anything to do with it. The stewards are not in control, as someone has previously mentioned. The stewards do not have the authority to throw a safety car. That's not what they're there for. They're not there for safety. That comes down to the racing director. So that comes down to race control. The stewards do not deem when a VSC comes out or a safety car comes out. Ham said something was wrong with his seat and something else happened. Oh, did he? Oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, yeah, he's probably thinking more about the race tomorrow, qualifying this afternoon, and the race tomorrow. Qualifying, guys, if you're wondering when qualifying will be on, let me just let you know when qualifying will be on. We can tell you that qualifying UK time will be on at 6 o'clock UK time. So you are looking at basically 3 and a bit hours, just over 3 hours. Wherever you are in the world. I'll be setting up the stream straight after this, and you guys can go wait in there, in the waiting room. You said it in a difficult place to why they took so long. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. Don't come here with critical thinking and logic. Wonder how the Ferraris will hold up in the race. Sprint is a decent indicator, so rain might help them out. Yeah, I don't think Leclerc being on three lap older tyres compared to everyone else was good. I don't think that helped him. You also have to remember he was defending from Verstappen as well, which is always going to take more out of your tyres. And I think Ferrari, they'll probably make some setup changes because Carlos Sainz wasn't overly impressive, was he? In P5, he wasn't able to close the gap and get involved with that battle, which you'd expect him to do. So I think Ferrari will be better and be more improved for the race tomorrow. 3 hours a game and then leave. Fortunately, not for me. I'll go have some lunch and I've got to go look after the little one. Take her off, clock in, clock out type situation. I've got to go clock in and the missus can clock out. What are we doing? iRacing in Brazil this weekend. I'll try and fit in a couple of races, maybe at some point swim. I've done one already. I won't be streaming though, unfortunately. I just won't get the time. So I might try and fit a race in tomorrow, maybe. But can't call out inconsistently only when it benefits your favourite driving team. Exactly. You need to call it as you see it. And that's what I mean. I just do think it was a bit dubious. But I think it's a reasonable question to ask why that VSE took so long. But yeah, we'll see if they come out and detail that. What's the constructor stand is looking like after this sprint? We can have a look here. I think this has been updated. if I'm correct. I could be completely and utterly wrong. No, it has been updated. So 8 points there. So let's have a look at the... let's get my trusty calculator out because my maths is terrible. I'm only good at maths if I have a... So there's 2 points obviously been gained on Lando, on Verstappen. That's understandable. There could be more. Could be one more point if he gets a 5-second place penalty. For McLaren, so 581. Oh, 581 take away 537. That gap is now 44 points. It was 33, I think. 33 earlier? No, something around 30-something points earlier on. So that gap is now 44 points between McLaren and Ferrari, guys. VSC is in delay. It's normal for race control to assess using the yellow flag, then throw a VSC later. McLaren reacted correctly. Yeah, I mean, I've seen them throw VSCs a lot sooner than that, though. That's my question, Warren. I think if you can ascertain pretty quickly that that's where Nico Hülkenberg has parked his car, it's if someone just spins there, like he wasn't fully off the race. He wasn't like that far off the white line. He was like on the inside, but for me, it's just an area. I get obviously they wanted the race to continue. I just think there is a genuine question to be asked, but why did that VSC take so long if you could see where Nico Hülkenberg's car was positioned? Because it wasn't like it was over towards the tyre barriers and it was like well out of the way. It was literally only just off the racing circuit. So during race, you said it was a difficult place to remove Hulk's car. Now you said, why did it take so long? Yeah, no, I'm still being consistent with what I was saying during the stream, so at the time. What's up with the visualizer? It stops. Once the race stops, this stops, so. Race control had one beer too many last night, yeah. Sorry, Kat, what are you saying? It was a difficult place to remove Hulk's car now. Yeah. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens, guys. We'll see what happens. Only 40 more subscribers till we get to 32,000, guys. To get to 32,000. I'm still waiting to see if there's any update on the VSC in regards to Max Verstappen. He has been deemed, of course, if you're just figuring out. Unclear if the potential imprisonment is at the moment, but if there's a time penalty for Verstappen, he finished 4.1 seconds ahead of Leclerc, so he'll be under threat of losing a place. So... lots of people querying why they took so long, though, McLaren, really, to invert those positions. It does seem a bit... does seem like it put a lot of pressure on Lando. Oh, just watching now. Just watching now. Not entirely sure yet. Just watching replay footage of Max Verstappen. He didn't get actually ahead of... He didn't get ahead of Piastri, but he did get his rear wheels alongside him. Sorry, his front wheels alongside his rear wheels, which you're not allowed to do, I believe, in VSC conditions or safety car conditions. You're now no longer to get alongside a driver. You have to be behind them. So we'll see. Does Lando have a chance at the Drivers' Championship considering Verstappen finishes second or third? He still technically does. I mean, like, look, he's gained 2 points today. It could be 3 if there's an additional, if there is a penalty for Max, a 5-second time penalty for that VSC infringement. If he gains, if he wins the race tomorrow, I just don't see Verstappen with that 5-place grid penalty finishing really in the top 5. He may finish in the top 5, but he could gain. That's going to be like a 17-point swing. Maybe even more. So yeah, lots to gain for Lando tomorrow. Lots to gain, but he still needs to get qualifying done first. So Hulk was still moving, normal to use yellows, and then a car could get going again. I mean, yeah, I'm just saying from what I saw on the track map, Warren. I haven't seen the TV coverage. You normally see when the data, when the marker on here goes like it basically disappears, it goes smaller and transparent. That's normally an indication that they've switched the engine off and they've retired the car. Like, it doesn't get going again. And that was, memory serves me right, at least 2 laps when his car was like that. So no, I can't see it being a 10. No, I think it'll be 5. So if this was the main race, let's go. Norris would gain 10 points, so we can expect that amount tomorrow. Even more, perhaps. I think it's going to be more tomorrow because Max has got a 5-place grid penalty. So he qualified 4th today. For today, He's going to most likely qualify a similar position, maybe. I don't think he's got the car to qualify on pole. So he's not going to start in 6th, which is his best place. He's going to start further down than 6th. And yeah, it depends how much of an performance improvement that ICE unit is going to give him. But yeah, I do think it'll be McLaren and Ferrari comfortably in the top 4, and then Max will be looking for that top 5 to minimise the amount of damage. But look, he's still going to have a sizable lead after this weekend. If it goes as it's kind of similarly done with the sprint race. It could completely flip on its head. Ferrari could come out being completely strong and knock out the front row. So, podium will be difficult for Max unless he gets a front row quali, which is possible. Yeah, but with that 5-place grip on it, he's not going to, so. Chechu did say that Hulkenberg's car was on the track still and difficult to move. That's why it took so long. Yeah, and that's my point, is that it was, I thought, on track. It's just slightly off the track, but it's still in a position that was, in my opinion, dangerous enough or unsafe enough to throw the VSC a lot sooner. That's my opinion. So I'm still, obviously, my point still stands that the VSC should have been thrown a lot sooner. So cars run such little drag now, the DRS delta making it super tricky to pass. Yeah, it's more about just the tyres though, isn't it, Connor? That's the intriguing thing tomorrow. Is going to be like the undercut, overcut. If it's not a rain race, then and it's dry, the strategy is going to be really important tomorrow. It's going to be really important. Signs are slow today. Yeah, we'll see. I'm no doubt. I think they'll probably change some setups, things with signs. So get the tyres in the right temperature. That RB can qualify. Okay. Is Max being investigated for safety car infringement? Yeah, he is. Yeah. Qatar sprint race will give a similar result as this race. This will go all the way to Abu Dhabi. That's all I want, really. I just want it to go to Abu Dhabi. I just want us to go to that last race with something on the line, because we don't. How boring is? Have you ever sat down? Let's remove the last lap of Abu Dhabi 21, right? Remove that. The race up until that point was boring. Every single race that we've had at Abu Dhabi has been boring. And we need something to keep us to tune in. We need a championship battle, because otherwise that race is dead. Absolutely dead. Actually, VSC should have been out a lot sooner. Yeah, no, that's my point. So, crazy how fast they are on the straights without DRS now, though. Barely gaining with DRS anymore at Brazil. One overtake was that team orders. It was team orders with McLaren and Piastri, yes, in the end. They left that way too long, though. Do you not think? Like, 4 laps remaining? I mean, Norris was on the radio not happy about it. He was like, I thought we discussed this. I think Norris just wanted to get ahead of Piastri, and like ultimately he's going to get like top points. Piastri can then play backup and hold up potentially Leclerc and Verstappen fighting. But they left that very long, didn't they? It's the same as Lewis and George with different approach to time management. Yeah, maybe. I'm just watching it now. Ooh, yeah, I mean, I wonder if they're investigating whether or not... I'm watching the replay. Verstappen definitely did get his front wheels alongside Piastri's rear wheels, which I believe you're not allowed to do. Definitely under safety car. I don't believe you're allowed to do that in VSC. But that will then come down to the fact of like speeding, basically. You sped, so... Speed traps and sectors, of course. Let me move this over here. That's the championship standings. So these are the sector times. Of course, these can be influenced, guys, by DRS. So Max did go fastest in the first sector when he was behind Charles Leclerc with the assistance of DRS. Piastri, of course, was in the front the whole time, leading. He never got DRS at all, because once he let Norris pass, he got let by. Sorry, the safety car came out. Middle sector's quite telling. Piastri in clean air, pretty good. Perez good as well. Albon came alive at the end of the race. Is it about the time difference between the cars? No, yeah, it's not the time difference between the cars. They all have a delta that they have to adhere to. So like it'll go plus and minus. It goes plus and minus basically when you're in a virtual safety car, so you're not gaining an unfair advantage. So you need to be really in the red. You want to be as close to 0 as possible. But if you go below 0 and you're gaining an advantage, then they'll give a penalty for it, because that's a virtual safety car infringement, because you're gaining an unfair advantage. Oh, hang on. Yeah. Max has... I mean, it's going to be a 5-second time penalty. They're just looking at it back in detail on Sky. He's exceeded the VSC. He's gone too early. And he's just misjudged it. So, yeah, I think Max will be demoted to P4, guys. I think Max will be demoted to P4. At some point, Piastri was a 2.2-second gap from Norris. Yeah, so... Piastri was told to give the RS to Norris. Team orders at play. Did Ferrari save the engine a bit once 4th and 5th? Maybe, Dusko. Yeah, I mean, it'd be smart to, wouldn't it? It would be smart to, especially when you know you're not going to get any more. You're not going to get an advantage or gain anything from then on. So, what was the order? Just invert positions. I don't understand why VSC isn't just limited to pit lane speed, but with a closed pit exit until the VSC is over. Because you can't. I suppose you can't do that, Mike, because then the tyres would... It'd be dangerous, because the tyres would call, the brakes would call. They're going to call anyway, but it's to ensure that... Yeah, it's basically to ensure that the tyres don't drop into such a poor temperature window that they can't get going again and they lose all of their grip, basically. So... No, he did misjudge it. He was trying to preempt that move, or that VSC ending, and trying to get ahead and get the jump on Piastri, but... He didn't. He got it wrong. It looks like he just got it wrong. Oh, race start. So race start done. And where's my sub count? Where are we at sub-wise, guys? Where are we at sub-wise? Oh, 31 subs until we get to 32,000. If you could please hit that subscribe button, it'd be much appreciated. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Did Sainz have a poor race today? If so, why? Yeah, he did, to be fair. He had a bit of a poor race. He never really got up to speed, and I think he was quicker than Russell. Bit of a no man's land race. I thought he'd maybe catch up to the back of Verstappen, but he didn't. And yeah, maybe they just quite early on decided to, as Dusko said, turn down the engine and just save the car and the parts for the remainder of the season and tomorrow. So in this afternoon, what was the gap to Verstappen and Charles? 4.1. 4.1. So yeah, he would finish behind. I don't know how drivers keep the margins during VSC. Yeah. Surely 32k in quality? I want 32k now. I want 32k now. I'm throwing a tantrum. No, I appreciate everyone tuning in regardless. Consistent viewers, as always. Consistent viewership. I mean, we still have over 900 people here right now, just willing to stick around and chat, and just waiting to see, I guess, no doubt, of whether or not Max is going to get a penalty. Yet to hear anything about it, but we'll see. Of course, lots of Red Bull fans, Max Verstappen fans, talking about the VSC deployment. I think it's a reasonable question. Anything else? Nothing yet. Just everyone saying it's being investigated. So I'm not really sure. I mean, surely they've got all the data available and they should be able to dish that out pretty quickly. Hoping for rain. Yeah, so the weather this afternoon, guys. Let me just have a look at the weather for this afternoon. Interlagos. Weather. Can I go on the BBC? Sao Paulo? Oof. Thundery showers and light winds. So looking now. Oh yeah, we could get. Oh no, that's a bit too late. It looks like it might miss. It might miss. We might get sprinkles. We might get a sprinkle of showers for qualifying. But it looks like it might just miss them because it looks like it's going to hit in the evening time. So Charles saying he cooked his rears. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He was on older tyres, Charles, and he was in the dirty air the whole race. He was trying to defend from Max as well. He went to the inside a few times, so he's no doubt going to burn his tyres more than everyone else. So, do I think Ferrari is the quicker car than the Red Bull for this weekend? Yes. I mean, if the pattern normally is that Red Bull are quick in the sprint race, and then they are not quick when it comes to race day. So, yeah, we'll see. And over a full race distance, the Red Bull has generally been found to be left lacking compared to the Ferraris and the McLaren, so we'll see. Is Lewis doing his demo run in the rain? I have no idea if he's doing his demo run in the rain. Look how fast they gave Norris the pen and ended the race and gave Max the place in front. 17 away from 32k actually, Dylan. I think Red Bull set up for quali and sprint races, not as much races now. They can't change the ride heights. They can do afterwards, Tasha. After the sprint race, they can do. You're free to change whatever you like on the setup. So that's the beauty of sprint weekends now. It used to be that you could have that. You were locked in, but not no more. But yeah, I do agree. I think they are setting up more so for quali. It's a bit different this time around, though, because Max has a 5-place grid penalty. So they do need to focus more probably on his race pace than they do him qualifying so far up the grid. To limit, to gain as many positions back as he can in the race. And of course, it's not the safety car at Interlagos. We've seen it quite a few times. So we've seen the safety car the last 2 races. Or last 2 race weekends. Max gained no advantage. I'm not a fan. I'm a Ferrari fan, but all these stupid rules are needed. Ferrari struggle to heat his tyres. If hot, they will be quick. Cold, nowhere. I disagree. He did gain an advantage because he's trying to preempt it. Now, he's realised that he's gone too early and backed out of it, and then as he's backed out of it, the VSC ends. So he is trying to gain an advantage. The rules are in there for a reason. I don't think this is a rule that particularly is... I don't think this rule is particularly anything that is unfair to the drivers and ruins racing. It's just there to ensure that the gaps... So when the VSC came out, the gaps are where they were, and it's very difficult to maintain it, but at least in the region of where they were when the VSC came out, so then racing can just resume. So it's not completely ruining the racing and bunching the cars up again. Who won, Khalifa? Google it. Where have you been? Lando won. Again, why are the things the Max did in 2021 all of a sudden infringements? Because they're finally catching up to penalties that should have been given actually now being given. Opinion changes, isn't it? So, will I cover Le Mans next year, Xander? Probably not, to be honest. I'm not really a big fan of Le Mans, to be honest. I know it's crazy to say, but 24-hour race is tough. 24-hour race is tough to cover, so. Can I show the full results? I can't right now, no, because the data's finished. Did McLaren not gain an advantage by the VSC? No. So they were able to change position, but their gaps that they were, so you're not able to go too slowly under a VSC. You're not able, of course, to go too quickly, which Max Verstappen has been no doubt deemed to have done. So, yeah, you cannot... so McLaren didn't gain an advantage there under the VSC. So when you watch the feed, he was clearly much too early on the gas and tried to overtake Piastri. Yeah, well, I called it back on the actual stream. I'll see if I can bring it up, actually. I'll show you this. I'll go onto my own stream to show you what I'm kind of talking about. So... Let's see. So, oh, that's terrible, isn't it? Where was it? It was... Was it here? It was 2 left. Yes, it was here. Let me show you. Oh, can you see here? Oh, it's a bit too small. Hang on. No, that's terrible. Oh my god, hang on. Give me a second. Oh, why is it that big? Okay, so basically what I want to show you is you can see Max and Piastri here. The VSC is about to end. And you see his icon. You basically see his icon, or his marker, go ahead of Piastri. I'm pretty sure it was. I'm pretty sure I saw it. No, sorry, it was last lap. It was last lap. Sorry, last lap. So we're talking... Oh, hang on. Right there. So keep an eye on Piastri. Keep an eye out on Verstappen's marker. And look, he goes ahead. He gets ahead of Piastri. There. Right there. Right there, you can see the hint of blue. It's like ahead of Piastri. He's look. You can see the gap. You can see the interval times there. How he's got on throttle sooner. So let's just watch that again. Look, he's half a second behind. Piastri starts to close in on Lando so that he gets to the gap when the VSC closes. And look, the gap's starting to close. Max is going. Max is going. Interval's coming down. He's coming down. Then he backs out of it. And there you go, 4 tenths back. So yeah, that's basically what they're investigating. He's just tried to preempt it. There's nothing like it's not cheating or anything. It's not like anything untoward. He's just trying to maximize the VSC because he knew it was the last lap and he wants to get ahead. Like your championship rivals, 1 position ahead of you. You know, if you get ahead of the car in front, his teammate, then you can like limit his points gain by 1 point. So, but it looks like now it might be 3. You can hear Piastri's car when he hits the throttle down 2 to 3 seconds after Max. Yeah, and the thing is, they just analysed on Sky as well, is that there's a board on the left-hand side, but as he gets up to the rear wheels of Piastri, the VSC is clearly still flashing. And then it goes off, and that's when he has to kind of back out of it. So yeah, it's just a little bit. You get what he's trying to do, but he's just slightly misjudged it. Fine margins. That's F1, isn't it? It's fine margins. So I think they should have radars for like traffic cars. If you think, right, hang on. I think they should have radars. I'm assuming, like for traffic cars, and when there's a yellow, they should slow. So I don't know, 100 km and then speed up after the yellow. Oh, so you mean like slow down sections? Like they do in Le Mans. I don't know. The alongside isn't a rule, it is a note though, but only applied in a full safety car. Okay, fair enough, Lars. Yeah, I didn't know if it was the same in the VSC or not. So yeah. It is cheating if you preempt the ending, you just need to wait and that's a full start basically. Well, he thought the VSC was ending when it like a bit earlier, but obviously got that wrong. If he gets away with it, he's cheating. I mean, it's not cheating. It's just that's not his fault, is it? This is the thing about Max, right? I don't like the way Max has gone driving in his time in F1. But it's not his fault if the stewards don't penalise him. But that's the thing. That's where he's clever. He knows. He knows damn well. Probably after a race, he's gone, I can't believe I've got away with that. But okay, I'm going to keep doing it until I get told otherwise. And that's what's happened a number of times. Mexico last week. Mexico last week? Mexico. Yeah, last week. Oh my God, I've had so much F1, I keep forgetting which came first. Mexico last week, he ended up getting those penalties, rightfully so. But it's been a very long time since he's got a penalty for something like that. So I don't want him to get away with it because I don't think the rules should allow what he did. Yeah, I think it's pretty much a slam dunk penalty, to be honest with you. I don't think you can see it. Carlos on radio saying, move Lawson in Mexico was hilarious. Oh, come on, guys. 10 more subs. 10 more subs until we're at 32,000. Go on. You can do it. You can do it. Please. Please. Oh, listen to Liam Lawson interview. Listening to what he has to say. No, penalty not given yet, guys. Penalty not given yet. Just in replay showed Verstappen had pulled partly alongside Piastri with the VSC. This isn't allowed on safety car restarts, but only appears to apply to a safety car rather than the VSC based on the sporting regs and race director's note. So if it's not for that, it's likely if he dropped below the minimum time on the FIA Delta, which is what they'll be investigating. Yeah, so. How about the time on the VSE? Yeah, we've talked about that, Lars. I think it's a reasonable question to ask. Why did the VSE take so long to come out? I'm sure there's a reasonable explanation for it, but I did find it a bit odd. Yeah, at the time. Hulkenberg's car, when you saw where Hulkenberg's car was, it just wasn't in a safe enough position for racing to be continued, in my opinion. But they probably wanted to leave it, because it's a sprint race, because it was at the end, they probably wanted to leave it as long as possible for entertainment purposes. And I don't know, maybe there's a logical reason that they didn't know it was there at that time. The information hadn't been relayed to them. I don't know. You're still on 2 accounts. Thank you. Thank you, Raymond. 992. Wee. Thank you, guys. I'm expecting a 5-second penalty, potentially 50-50 chance. I think it's pretty much a slam dunk. I think it's a slam dunk. I think you can see it clearly on the data I just showed you, the intervals, interval times, and you can see, yeah, you can see it going. So it does seem like that, just, doesn't it? Yeah. Lando won. So basically, if he was behind 1 second before VSC and 8 tenths after, it's a penalty. Yes, yeah, you're not able to gain an unfair advantage, basically. Yeah. Is it legal to stream the race? No, you cannot stream the video footage of the race. It is copyrights, and you would get banned from YouTube. So no, you're not allowed to do that. Alpha's a little bit long, took too long. Perfect world. It shouldn't take so long. It's a safety car after all, and if it should come first and fast, and it's not a perfect world. So yeah, that's how it is. But anyway, guys, I'm now going to go have some lunch. I'm going to set up the stream. I now need to go basically check the missus out and relieve her so that she can get some sleep and some needed rest, and we'll be back in a few hours time, guys. So yes, thank you for all the subs, much appreciated. Thank you for tuning in as always. I think we had like 4,500 people in here. You're slacking on the likes though, guys. You're slacking on the likes. But big thank you. Yes, go do whatever you need to do. Go have a nap, go grab yourself some food, whatever it may be. Have a bath, have a shower. Make sure you're back in a few hours' time. 6 o'clock UK time is when it gets underway. So just under 3 hours is when qualifying gets underway. But of course, as always, turn your notifications on to be alerted when I'm going live, so you never miss a stream. Hit that like and subscribe button one last time, and we'll see you in a few hours, guys. And, well, stay tuned as well, no doubt, to Twitter and online to see if that 5-second time penalty does actually get applied. It's not the be-all and end-all. It's just an additional extra point for Lando, because Max will get demoted to P4 and Charles will get up to P3. But it doesn't mean it means that 1 point could be the be-all and end-all at the end of the season. We know every point matters at the moment. So, yeah, we'll see. But yes, see you in a few hours, guys. Bye.